Okay, so when you're working with multiple tables on the same worksheet, the amount of space that's involved for writing data becomes a little bit important, especially if you're trying to put things in the incorrect sequence. So in this particular example, we've created these three tables from this execution worksheet, and it's just kind of placed them in their default status and their default locations that Nitro-CELL would do normally. If we come back in afterwards and go, oh, you know something I needed to add in, let's say I wanted to get the parameter data from the model, so I'm going to get all the PRT files, and let's put in a wildcard for the type of parameter we're looking for, and we're going to write it to that table. And now if we run this, because we already have those tables created and they're already kind of set there, even though they're in a Nitro-CELL default state, there is not enough information about that to be able to populate that out. So the error that's actually occurring here is it's saying I can't write because of the header, and the reason being is that if we look at the type of data we're trying to populate here, if we go over to what its expectations are for the write, it's looking for 6 columns worth of data to write to. Well, this is only one column currently, and the reason it's not populating that is because there's actually content to the right of it. So if we come in and we say, well, I'm just going to add in some additional columns, and then let's rerun this again. Now it has enough room to expand that out and write our content, and then it'll perform normally. Now, another interesting thought is, well, what happens if you have a situation where you 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 have a vertical problem? Well, let's go ahead and let's delete this content that's here, and let's maybe put this at A6, and let's also try to write this bomb data from here into that available space. But we're going to actually populate it first, so we actually have something in the way. So if we look at this now we're going to have a problem if we try to write data to this bomb table. It's going to be a little bit of a problem. We're actually kind of doing this backwards. So if we come in and we say report item counts using the table function that's there, and we're going to write the current bill of materials to that bomb table. When we run this, it's going to complain. It says I can't write the table body, and the reason being is that there's just not enough space here. So one way to solve that would be to just say, okay, I know what my maximum space utilization would be for these tables to write them in this fashion, and when I rerun this, I've made enough space for that content to arrive, and it can do so. So really, the best advice we have for kind of working with tables is to kind of build them. If you're going to create a table, create them in a very dynamic way and populate them immediately so that you have the space that's going to be required occupied quickly. So in this particular case, I'm just going to run this as it is, and we're not being specific about what locations they're going to write into. Nitro-CELL is going to take care of that on its own. And you can see here that it's writing this in, then it's indexing over, writing the new information and populating it, and then indexing over, and it's ready to write another table with the content that goes there.